Well, this is the fourth time the Tigers have been here to Scully Park in Tamworth. They beat the Titans back in 2019. They've also gone down a couple of times to the Knights and the Sharks last year. We're underway. Friday night footy live on Fox League. And it's Clemmer who'll bring it back, and what a tackle to meet him. A Rabbitohs wall, including Arrow and also Campbell, drove him backward some 3 or 4 metres. That's how we get this one underway in Tamworth. Papali'i playing it there as Brooks comes back to the middle. Watch the contact again. Kalamatangi in particular with that shoulder.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit unfortunate. He didn't get a penalty against him there. Didn't wrap the arms around Kalamatangi, trying to make a statement. As I mentioned a bit earlier, a little bit down. There's a charge down straight away. A little bit down in their defence last week against the Broncos.
Bounces away to Charlie Staines, who dumps it out the back, and then Papali'i on ice skates cleans up with it. And there'll be a new set of 6 right here for the Tigers from just inside their own half. So a bonus set for West. It's a home game for them here in Tamworth once again, as Clemmer takes it into South Sydney territory. Coruscant waits at dummy half, comes across to Brooks. They work it through the middle through Utso Ikamanu, taken down there by Cook and also Walker. Back to this left edge. Short ball there off Brooks for Clemmer once again. Kalamatangi around the legs. And they're poised to go inside the 20. An intercept though taken by you-know-who. Alex Johnston's away, being chased there by Jareem Buller, but he can't track down the great try scorer himself.
Well, he hasn't even warmed up yet, Alex Johnson. Just up in the face there of the Tigers. They throw the intercept. Just got the feeling once he got the ball, it was all over. Alex Johnson in for his 16th try of the season. Buller, gee, made up a little bit of ground there, Buller, for the Tigers. Had to turn around and chase. They're trying to shift the ball early in the tackle count here. It's a second man play. And that's really a no-look pass there from Bateman. Johnson right on song. Grabs the ball with his left hand, pulls it in. And it's shut the gate once he gets the ball. That's exactly what the Tigers didn't need early. Buller put on a brave chase there. But Johnson, too good, scores the try.
Try number 182. And this incredible career, of course, now means he's just 30 shy of the all-time leader, Ken Irvine. Most tries, though, for the one team. Alex Johnston closing in there on Billy Slater, who's second all-time overall. Of course, Ken Irvine played for a couple of clubs, the Bears and also the Sea Eagles. From right in front, Mitchell converts. It's 6 points to 0. We go downstairs to James Hooper.
Evening, Warren. How good is this? Tamworth, the people of regional New South Wales and country New South Wales, they are absolutely loving life at the moment. They have come from everywhere, Gilgandra, Narrabri, surrounding towns, to get a piece of the action. The sold-out sign went up at Scully Park on Tuesday. There are 11,000 people in attendance. And for the Bunnies fans, well, that was a perfect start, as you just touched on. Alex Johnson now 3rd on the all-time NRL top try scorers list.
And Bateman with his back turned there, popped the pass, didn't see Alex Johnston, and once he gets it in fresh air, well, I don't know that anybody in the competition was going to run him down, as Coruscant gets us back underway. So a real moment there for the Rabbitohs fans. There are plenty of them here in Tamworth tonight, as Arrow it is. To work it away for South Sydney, he'll play it just short of the 20 as Cook up against his New South Wales teammate tonight in Happy Coruscant. Kalamatangi, another blue there. So impressive he was in game 3. And they need him to help lead the way and a push towards the finals, as they sit in 9th position coming into this game with 10 wins and 9 losses. The same record as the Eels, who, as it would turn out, are in action later tonight live on Fox League. They take on Melbourne in Melbourne. Murray here. Good meters for South Sydney. And they're set after points. They're just outside the Tigers' 40. They go to Walker to do the kicking here for the first time in the game. The kick will go down towards Norfoluma, who makes the catch. He's got Buller back there with him. He loses it, and it goes again straight to Alex Johnston.
Gee, I don't know what he's doing there, Norfoluma. Early in the game, there's another mistake from the Tigers. Run the ball. We know what a good ball runner he is. put pressure on his fullback there in Buller. And Souths have got the ball again.
And it's Arrow who takes it towards the uprights, taking some stopping as well. Clemmel was there. Coruscant was underneath. They did everybody in that tackle. Cook through the hands of Ilias. Koloamatangi on the right edge. They'll chop down Latrell Mitchell there. Good tackle made by Toa. Now back to the middle. Ilias keeps it going. Here's Murray. Grabbed by Bateman. One-on-one. Laurie was there to help take him to ground. And South Sydney still have 2 more plays. Cook goes left. Walker floats it over the top, looking for Johnston again. Why wouldn't you? But the pass is perhaps a little forward and too long for Johnston.
Yeah, they were lucky to hang on there, the Tigers there. The pass on over the top from Cody Walker, trying to find his wingman. You'll find that Norfoluma comes in field a lot too. I reckon they'll go to the right-hand defence of the Tigers here this evening. That time it didn't come off.
He's so good at hugging that sideline ordinarily, Alex Johnson, but he was infield a little bit there, and Walker didn't realise it, so I let off for West. We've had a couple of moments already in this game, and both of them involving that man Johnston. Trying to work it away here. He'll play it just inside the Tigers 30. Bateman hit high. They came out quickly as well. Murray and company not onside on that left edge for the Rabbitohs, and the Tigers with the penalty to try and work it downfield and put some pressure here on South Sydney once again.
Yeah, it's been a nice aggressive start defensively. The first tackle from Koloamatangi and that one from Murray has just shown intent early against the Tigers here. They give away the penalty. They're up on the 30-metre line now.
It's Uta Ikamanu playing it just 25 metres out. Brooks looking in, looking out. In the end, going to David Clemmer, who plays it quickly enough. Brooks is there again. Options inside and outside. Uta Ikamanu is the second of them. He'll go close. Only a couple of metres out in the end as Coruscant comes to Brooks once again. Heavily involved early on. No look of here for Clemmer. They were sweating on him. Arrow was there with Murray. And the Tigers have used up 4 tackles. Goes to Laurie, who puts in an ad-lib kick. Was it played at by South Sydney? No, it wasn't. This will be the last for West. Comes to Brooks. They'll kick it across the face of everybody. Junior Tupou is there. Up high, though, is Tane Milne coming down with it, and the Rabbitohs have hung on.
Gee, that was some sort of take there from Milne. Up above the pack. He was under all sorts of pressure there. The Tigers are a little bit unlucky not to get a repeat set there. One of the South Sydney blokes threw their boot out, so he said they didn't play it. A little bit unlucky.
Well, that was the call on field by the referee as South Sydney here through Milne. They play it just inside their 20. Here's Hame Selo, who just recently has agreed to go back to the Dragons in 2024. Started his career there. He was a Dragons junior. Flat pass, more than flat from Walker to Host. And the Tigers will get a chance to come back at them again here off a mistake by Cody Walker.
Yeah, it's a couple of errors early in the game to Cody Walker. They got that runaway try to start the game there, South Sydney. I don't think it'll put too much stress on a player like Cody Walker. He'll just get on with it now. Another turnover. Tigers with the football back.
Rabbitohs coach Jason Demetriou in discussion there with Ben Hornby as the Tigers from a scrum win go down the short side here. Bit of a trick play for Coruscant from the back of the scrum. A lack of completions from both teams to begin the game. The Rabbitohs, off the back of one of those Tigers incomplete sets, lead 6 points to 0. Brooks showing it, taking them on as that thermal bandage around the left hamstring. He's returning from here tonight. Clemmer, Uta Ikamanu again. Chopped down around the legs by Jai Arrow. Come left, here is Brooks. He's got Buller there as the pivot off his shoulder. Tupou goes to ground, playing in the centres tonight, Junior Tupou, and now Brooks grubbering, looking for the upright. It's still there. The Tigers have come up with it, and it's Appy Coruscant. Coruscant scores for West off a ricochet, and the hooker plants it down to put the Tigers on the board.
He does that a lot, doesn't he, Appa Coruscant? Never not alive there with that play. The crossfield kick, it was hit pretty hard there by Brooks. Was fumbled in the backfield there by one of the South players. We'll see the replay. And Appa Coruscant right on song, right on the spot. There's the ricochet there. I think it come off Cameron Murray. And there's the drop ball there again by Walker. Beautifully scooped up by Appy. And the Tigers hit back.
Gifted a chance, of course, by the forward pass called as such by the sideline official from Walker to Host. And off the back of that, a ricochet off Arrow. And then Walker couldn't grab it. Coruscant sliding through, plants it down, celebrating his recent extension with the Tigers. He'll be on board with Wes until the end of 2026, and here they are. They were hard to put away back in round 11, the first meeting between these two teams this season. The Rabbitohs won that one 20 points to nil, but it was only 8 points to nil with 73 minutes gone. It took a long time for South Sydney to get the job done that day, and the Tigers, off the back of that, they might take a fair bit out of this scoreline here early on.
He's always on song. As I mentioned, he scored a try against Saints last week, right on half-time to keep the Tigers in it. And doing his job there, Appy, to score that try. Again, that's a third error there from Cody Walker. You wouldn't see that virtually in a season. He'll lift his head and he'll get on with it now.
No wonder the West Tigers appointed this man their captain blocker in Appa Coruscant, because he is just all an effort player. And you think back, and it was only 5 weeks ago he had a busted jaw, and in all likelihood he probably should have missed more games than he has. He returned last week, which was 5 weeks to the day, because he was so determined that he needed to try and make a difference to this West Tigers team. And well, he's helped them there because they've levelled the scores. But for the Bunnies, it is a concern block, because 15 errors last week and a couple early tonight as well.
They certainly have hurt them here, as they did, as you mentioned, James, in that loss last week against the Broncos. They went down 36 points to 20. Charlie Staines, and here's return. Clemmer's there again, and he must be wearing a target because Campbell was there. Drilled him once again. They've got David Clemmer's number. Campbell is adjusting the hair after racing out of the line and being part of this tackle again, and there was Koloamatangi again. That one, there was, I'm going to say, even less of a wrapping motion there from Keon Koloamatangi. He's sailing very close to the wind.
Yeah, it's pretty hard when you're trying to get numbers into the tackle like that. Graham come up, that was a pearler, wasn't it? They're just trying to stop Clemmer to get into that 20-metre line from the kickoff. It's intent by the South Sydney side.
David Clemmer at the moment is just happy to bring it back into the field of play and not be driven back into the in-goal area. Two huge collisions of kickoffs tonight from South Sydney. Here they are, working it away from inside their own 20. Campbell Graham here, stopped pretty quickly by some strong Tigers defence, with Clemmer involved in the tackle, trying to return serve after he's been on the receiving end. Huge contact. Tass playing it. Cook comes across to Arrow. Not much there. Coruscant staying alive in case there was a ball out the back from Jai Arrow. And now here's Cook. Comes towards Vanua and pinches about 12 or 13 metres, but it'll be a slow play the ball though, and Cook wasn't happy about that. Walker's kick again down that left-hand side. Lachlan Ilias went the entire game last week against the Broncos as Norfoluma brings it back. Hopefully for the Tigers fans without incident this time, which he manages to do, bouncing around. But Ilias last week against the Broncos went the entire game, didn't kick the ball, and tonight already it's all Walker doing the kicking.
Yeah, just on that left-hand side. You know, Walker's taken over the kicking, obviously. That was better from Norfoluma. He's a great ball runner. He can bust tackles. Don't worry about passing the ball, just charge.
Here is Charlie Staines on his return from that perforated bow. Very serious problem he had against Sea Eagles back in round 8. And now Clemmer trying to offload it in the tackle. It'll be a loose carry against the Tigers front rower. And South Sydney will get it back here about 10 on their own side of halfway. David Clemmer making no moves at this stage, trying to convince anybody that it should be a captain's challenge.
Yeah, I think it's just a loose carry, just trying to get the ball away. It was Cook over the top. He's got the arm and knocked it down. Clemmer tries to knock the ball back there, but they don't go for the challenge. Gee, it's been sloppy start from both sides. Ball control was a little bit slippery out there on ground, so maybe they can get away with that for a little while, but they'll have to settle down sooner or later.
So on Friday night footy, 14 gone here, 6 apiece, try each as Mitchell's pass hits the deck and Cook is there to clean up. At the start of the set of 6, the Rabbitohs were hoping for. Slow play the ball again here for Damien Cook, getting dominated in tackles at the moment. That time you can understand, of course, diving on the ball to clean up the mistake from Mitchell as Saleh works it forward. That's better. Plenty of metres there. Some momentum in the set of 6 as Cook comes across to Ilias out the back. Mitchell is there again, favouring this right-hand side. Got away from Brooks, but not the attention of Papali'i. They're at the 20. Goes from Ilias. Here's Murray. Walker. Good numbers here. Tapped on by Tass. In behind Johnson. Tries to stay in the field of play. If they touch him, he's tackled. And they must have done because he's been called on to play it there. Here's Tass. Tiger still complaining, saying he wasn't held there. We didn't touch him. They were hoping for a voluntary tackle call. It's Ilias who puts it in the air. He's broken his duck, or broken the drought at least as far as kicks in recent times. He put them under pressure, but a good catch made here by Buller.
Yeah, there was a perfect example of what I was saying a little bit earlier when Norfoluma just struggles and goes in field.
Here's some metres. The Tigers on their own goal line go the length of it from right to left. Now in trouble. Tupou got the ball back in field only just. What an adventure this is. Welcome to Tamworth. They're going to turn it on no matter where they are on the field here, quite obviously. And they picked up 30 metres as a result, but boy, they had some hearts in mouths, no doubt, in the coach's box.
You're just trying to force the issue a bit at the moment, the Tigers, just trying to force the passes. It was Clemmer, and that time the ball back in field. Tupou.
He did marvellously well in the end, destined to be driven in to touch right in front of the Tigers bench as well. Now here is Brooks, last tackle. And it'll be Dane Laurie with the kick. He's headed back to the Panthers in 2024. A relink, of course, with the 2-time defending champs. Might be 3-time defending champs by the time he gets back there.
Just like to see the Tigers a little bit more physical. They've been set the challenge by the defence of the South Sydney side early. Just got to start to go with them. They're starting to make a few yards in and behind the ruck here.
Despite the intercept try by Alex Johnson, the Tigers have certainly been very much in this arm wrestle to this point of the game, as Murray showing it. Tigers defence in the middle of the field has been pretty good until this point, where the quick pass from Murray finds Mitchell. Ran from behind there by Papali'i. Now the Tigers are scrambling. Ilias out the back. Walker, flat ball there. It's all good. Milne back on the inside. Holds it. Taken down by Laurie. He had Graham there in support and also Arrow. They go wide. Back to the middle. Last tackle. Walker out the back. Mitchell overhead. Looking for Johnston. Looking for the corner. Pops it back on the inside. And Isaiah Tass reaps the dividends. Terrific work by South Sydney through the middle from Murray and Mitchell, and then the big spread of long ball from Walker and Johnson with the final pass.
Yeah, they're so good at offloading the football, aren't they? Just standing in the tackle. There's 3 in that tackle there. They shouldn't be able to do that. Latrell Mitchell takes off. The quick play the ball. They come up the right-hand side. They're a dangerous side on both sides of the field. They make the long-range break here through Milne, and then straight away, you shouldn't be able to spread the ball from that sideline corridor like that. Your defence has got to come up and put pressure on the ball runner. Have a look where Norfoluma is here. Look how back he is. And then he sprints in, the pass over the top. They sum it up pretty quickly. Johnson does amazingly well to get the ball back on the inside. They didn't cover up there, and Tass scores the try. Pretty to watch here from the South Sydney side on both sides of the field. Johnston does well to pass the ball back on the inside and they score again. Gee, they've got some wonderful attacking players, haven't they? And they make you pay when they get the chance.
Well, Cam Murray, an absolute specialist, doing exactly what he did there. Getting a pass away or getting a quick play of the ball, which sometimes has the same effect. And then Mitchell set them in motion. And here he is from out wide to try and make this a 6-point lead for South Sydney. It scrapes the upright. It'll remain a try the difference. The Rabbitohs on top in Tamworth.
Isaiah Tass, the North's Mackay Jr. is the man who scored the try, Warren, but you can trace it back to Cameron Murray and also Latrell Mitchell just injecting themselves into this match, grabbing it by the scruff of the neck and making something happen. The Bunnies, they initially go down their right edge, then they shift it back out to the left where Tass scores, and they've been a little clunky early, but they've certainly hit top gear there.
Well, we know how many points they have in them. There's no question about that. But boy, they've leaked plenty of points in recent times, this South Sydney outfit. But Isaiah Tass gives them the lead here, not quite midway through this opening half in Tamworth. As Coruscant gets us back underway. Kick goes down to Elias, who had it off here for Selle again, who brings it forward. Met by Bolle there, amongst others. Good carry, though, by the Rabbitohs front rower. Tavita Totola out of action still again this week. Jai Arrow back in the front row after he's been playing on an edge in the absence of Jacob Host the last couple of Rabbitohs games. They get a penalty here. The contact on Arrow was too high, and Mitchell wants to get going quickly. Yeah,
once they've controlled the football, the South Sydney side have got an amazing ability just to poke their nose through and win another penalty straight away on the attack again in the Tigers' half. I don't think it'll be long before we see Cody Walker take control of this game. Made a couple of errors early, but he'll throw that out. Away he'll go.
Tackle here by Coruscant around the legs of Arme Selle. Cook, he finds Arrow. Backing behind the play, the ball was where he was headed, but he met the imposing frame of Stefano Uta-Ikamanu. Despite that, goes backwards after contact for another 10 metres or thereabouts. Cook finds Murray, who puts it down, and it will be a knock-on against South Sydney. Murray's stating a case saying he thought it was backwards. The referee, though, disagrees.
Yeah, if you're that confident, you would challenge that, wouldn't you? It's obviously Murray saying to the referee that might have went back, but they're not going to challenge. Just as they were starting to build to something, they haven't been really able to do it so far. Knock on.
Tigers 7 from 10 completed sets to this point. The Rabbitohs 7 from 11. They lead 10-6. Now it's Tupou being driven backwards here. This right edge of Kalamatangi and Campbell. What a night they've had defensively so far, especially when David Clemmer has the ball. Bateman going sideways here in some contact. Speaking of big humans and contact, Tom Burgess. Interchange card in hand. Jason Dimitri is about to go to his forward rotation for the first time in the game. Uta-Ikamanu bounces away from Kalamatangi there. They're back within range for a kick from inside the 40 from Coruscant across the wide expanses here of Scully Park. It was a long kick to try and come up with a 40-20 from the left edge. He struck it pretty well, but in the end, Johnston gets back there in plenty of time, and the Rabbitohs through Tass bring it forward here.
Yeah, he read it beautifully, didn't he? The angle wasn't there for Coruscant out of dummy half. He kicked it nicely. Johnston, as you said, just got on his bike. He got the football in the first bounce.
It's Cook down a short side. Walker is there. Tass now in space with Mitchell ending up with it down that very narrow short side. Here is Burgess, who takes a carry and runs plenty of metres before he meets the Tigers' defensive line. That left edge providing a chance, and that's where they go again. Walker, Mitchell through the hands to Tass, got away from the tackle of Norfoluma, and Alex Johnston puts it down. He hopes to hear the whistle for try number 2.
What about the magnificent strength? As I said, they keep going to that right-hand side. Obviously spotted a weakness. Latrell Mitchell, virtually impossible to stop one-on-one, just shrugs out of a tackle. I'll have a look at the put down here. Well, he did it pretty quickly here. Up the short side again. Silky skills. There's the combination we've been waiting for. Gets up and goes again, Latrell Mitchell. The hands were off him, so he's allowed to get up and play on. It's Tass that just bounces away there from a couple of tackles. I thought it was Mitchell. Johnson gets the football down.
And confirmed by the bunker, no dramas with the put down. He doesn't waste too many chances, does he? Despite Buller coming across there in cover. Alex Johnson already has a double. It's the 51st time in his career he scored 2 tries or more. And while he's chasing Ken Irvine for the overall tally, of course, of 212 individual tries, he's now gone past the great winger. He's got 51 doubles or more, and that takes him past Ken Irvine. So one little moment, a milestone already achieved here for Alex Johnston at Scully Park in Tamworth tonight.
Yeah, unbelievable ability, hasn't he? Once he gets a footy, what a great finisher he is. A tough conversion now for Latrell out on the sideline.
Mitchell trying to fade it back. He's missed the left-hand side this time. He's got it going both ways. The Rabbitohs lead the Tigers 14-6.
Alex Johnston bags a double. What a superstar flyer he is, but it's the genius and the guile of Cody Walker that's helped the Bunnies now establish a 14-6 lead. We often hear the champion playmakers compare Cody to Cliffy Lyons, and with plays like that and the try previously, it's easy to understand why. He's a magician with the ball. If you need to score points, you want Cody in your team. And Latrell Mitchell, what a superstar he is. He is also injecting himself, and you can just see a little bit of dew on the surface here at Scully Park. That's why it is so slippery.
So a few players go down. Hasn't stopped Alex Johnson and Isaiah Tass on that left-hand side, running rampant in this first 25 minutes of game time. Don't forget, beyond full time tonight, we'll take you to Melbourne. It's the Storm against the Eels. Huge game, especially the Parramatta Eels. They're in the battle at the bottom end of the top 8 with this team, South Sydney, for that 8th and final place in the top 8. The Rabbitohs get another penalty here, and the tide really turning their way through this middle of the first half.
Well, you've got to be so tidy when you're getting numbers in the tackle, and you can't afford to keep giving the ball back to the South Sydney side. Obviously, the Tigers are just trying to slow them down a little bit, but you've got to jump up after you've made the tackle. They're gifting them field position again. Here they come, the Bunnies.
The Tigers need to find some resolve defensively here. It's Cook waiting for the arrow, play the ball. Burgess will just work it forward there, taken by Coruscant around the legs. He's so courageous as Cook goes to Walker again. That left-hand side is what they like. Jacob Host this time, trying to play it quickly. Walker and Mitchell down that left-hand side, bounces back to the middle, gives it to Latrell on his return. He was faded like a rock star by the young fans, especially when he hit the field for the warm-up. They'd love to see him score. 6 more tackles here for South Sydney. Burgess on the inside ball, the crash play. But the world's largest running back in the NFL there off Cook, the quarterback. Fire it deep from dummy half. Comes from Murray, then Ilias. Walker is left, he's right, and he's slipping over here. Goes to ground in underneath Isaiah Papali'i, who takes his time in getting off him, as he's allowed in that situation. Arrow 10 metres out. Rabbitohs looking for their 4th try of the game. Ilias taking it to the line, grabbed by Coruscant and also Brooks. They've got 2 plays remaining in this restarted set of 6. It's Walker, goes to Burgess once again. Here's the last. They're fanned out to the left-hand side. Both Walker and Mitchell are there. They'll come back to Ilias instead. He grubbers. It's beautiful. Koloamatangi is there. It was simple stuff, but executed so perfectly by Lachlan Ilias. And Koloamatangi scores again for the Rabbitohs.
Now, he's made a difference since he's come on as a replacement. Thomas Burgess just proving a handful in the middle third of the field. But that's beautiful touch there from Ilias. Koloamatangi, the bounce favoured him beautifully. Bullet just caught out of position there. Koloamatangi just sprints through to score. Far too easy. Not winning and dominating tackles in the middle of the ruck. As I said, Thomas Burgess has come on and carved him up. He's proven a handful. 3 and 4 blokes struggling to put him down, which makes the numbers on the outside pretty good. Beautifully timed kick there. Walamatangi won't get an easier one.
Now, I mentioned his efforts for New South Wales in that winning Game 3. Described as the dead rubber against the Maroons, of course, after they had wrapped up the first couple of games to take the Origin series, and he was outstanding. 80 minutes he played on debut. His numbers were very big as well, and here he is doling out the hits to David Clemmer in particular, and scoring tries off Lachlan Ilias's boot. A little look to the crowd there for Latrell Mitchell, who says finally got the bend right on that one. It's 20 points to 6, and they're pouring them on now.
And the Bunnies fans at Scully Park in Tamworth are up and about celebrating. And this is a great confidence boost for young Lachlan Ilias. A deft little right foot grubber kick. Keon Kolamatangi scores the try. But Lachlan, he'd been under a little bit of pressure this week. Some talk, Warren, about how he hadn't had a kick in last weekend's loss. So a good confidence boost for the young number 7 there.
He couldn't lay it on any better than he did just then. The weight was perfect for Kolamatangi to pour onto it. And here he is now making the catch off the restart. And the Rabbitohs looking to bounce back, and they need to. It's been a lean run for them through the Origin period and beyond. First of 4 games before they have a bye in the second last weekend of the minor premiership, and then they finish with a clash, almost the now traditional clash, in the final minor premiership game against the Sydney Roosters. And that may well, who knows, be hugely important for the Rabbitohs by the time we get there.
You're just trying to get a little bit fancy there, Cam Murray. As I said, there's a fair bit of space through the middle. Just trying to put on a play there. And no looker, but gee, got crunched. The ball goes to ground. The Tigers get the football back.
And they've made their share of mistakes. It hasn't hurt them too badly to this point. The Tigers scored their only try of the game off the back of a Walker error. As Brooks plays it here, Coruscant comes to Clemmer. Play the first half an hour plus by the looks of things here for Tim Sheens tonight. Brooks, support on the outside through Papali'i. Heard the contact so clearly through our microphones here at Scully Park. Coruscant, set restart for the Tigers. Brooks, here's the chime, takes them on. Grabbed there by Cook, but only just. Last line of defence, 5 metres out. Coruscant comes back to the middle where Clemmer, a fairly comfortable target there for the Rabbitohs forwards. Here's Coruscant again. Goes to Dane Laurie. He was just monstered by Jacob Host. It took too long to decide what he was going to do, and Host cleaned him up. Twa goes back towards the uprights. Coruscant with 4 tackles gone. Looks to his right-hand side. Laurie's there again. This time, crash play back on the inside with Stafford Toa. He'll play it on the last. Coruscant dropping back. Doing a full 360 just about. Finds Brooks in the end. Across the face of everybody. The tap back there from Charlie Staines. Comes back to Tupou. Campbell Graham has got him with some help from Tane Milne. And the Rabbitohs, having given away a set restart, hang on inside their 20.
Well, they stayed up defensively. They got the crossfield kick in, the Tigers. The South Sydney side somehow get the football back. Just competing for that ball, and it goes high. Here comes Burgess again. Look at that, 5 in the tackle. That'll just shorten their defensive line up a little bit.
Now going to ground, Cameron Murray hit high here and a strong tackle. Darcy James is fresh on the field for the Tigers. James coming across the top has cleaned up Murray and given away a penalty. Is that left arm extended on the jaw of the Rabbitohs, and New South Wales lock forward.
Well, that's hit him flush on the jaw there. I'm surprised that he hasn't ended up in the sin bin. It'll be on report, but there was no bouncing off the neck or off the chest. That was straight on the chin.
Cam Murray getting the standing 8 there from long-time Rabbitohs trainer Eddie Farah, brother of Tigers great Robbie Farah. Burgess here takes it inside the 40. Can they keep the points? coming. Still 8.5 remaining in this opening half. Avili now. Stop there. Good tackle by Bateman and also Coruscant. Ilias sees some space. Back through the middle. He'll take them on. He'd beaten just about everybody, but the ball comes free with Coruscant making the try saver.
He's amazing, isn't he, Coruscant, to make that tackle. Ilias off the right foot. Good to see him running the football and getting a fair bit of footy on the right-hand side. And generally goes to that left side to Walker. Happy Coruscant. Gee, how did he get there? Great competitor. If it wasn't for him back there, Ilias would have scored.
What an effort. He makes the tackle and has the presence of mind to realise Ilias has the ball poised there for a pass, so he reaches up with the right fist clenched and knocks it out of his hands as well.
He's an unbelievable competitor, isn't he? Just trying. A lot of people would say he hasn't played that well this season.
Trick shot off the scrum here for the Tigers. It ended up with Buller off Brooks on an inside ball, but there was an obstruction, says the referee.
Just to see whether they go for the try here, the South Sydney side leading comfortably 20-6.
Jerome Buller has a bit of blood flowing from the knock to the nose he got at the other end of the field. Here is Buller, and Dane Laurie parked himself in front, having been a part of that play, and interfered with Kaloa Matangi coming across to make the tackle, and that's why the referee called an obstruction. And the Rabbitohs tap it. Davey Moali is on field now, 10 metres out, right in front of the uprights. It's all South Sydney at the moment here in Tamworth. Avili, he'll play it under the attention there of Bateman. Coruscant got a foot on the ball. It'll be a set restart at a minimum, and that's exactly what it is. And more pressure here on the Tigers line. They've cracked 4 times already. Avili looking for a 5th, and he's gone pretty close. Cook waits, goes left, bypasses Mitchell. Well played off the boot there by Isaiah Tass. That was clever. Stay nice and calm. Just popped it up, brings it back to take a tackle. Midway through the set, it's Burgess again with the crash ball. Good tackle around the legs made by Sean Bloor. Cook spins to find Ilias. Back through the middle. Here's Walker. Strong tackle. Sean Bloor was there. They've got one more here, South. Cook, Grubbers, still bouncing around after being knocked on, says the referee, by Alex Twal. And now Abby Coruscant comes to grips with Cody Walker. The hooker and the 5/8 coming together. What happened there off the back of the ball bouncing around on top of the Tigers' goal line?
I think you'll find Cody got tackled there and didn't like the tackle. So a push and shove or a trip there. And one of the Tigers players trying to play from marker. And Happy doesn't like it.
To make the point, he resented what Cody did off the back of that previous play the ball. The ruling was a knock on by Alex Twal, so the Rabbitohs will hang on to it here. We'll see if Cody can stay calm with the red mist descending potentially. Sometimes goes both ways with him. There's Tass. Defender away from Toa. Hurt him towards the sideline. And he'll play it just inside the Tigers' 10. We've got 4.5 left in this opening half. On the road on Friday night footy. Awali here brings it back towards the uprights. There's some depth on this right edge. Where Burgess takes a run once again. They're waiting for him. Once more make the tackle. Cook comes back to Walker. Good hands. Tass showing it. Trying to step in behind. Johnston was there waiting for a chance to wrap up a first half hat-trick. And it almost came to him as well.
Gee, they had a lot of ball, didn't they? The South Sydney side putting pressure on the Tigers. And it's Tass who comes away with the error. Gets on the outside of his man. The ball knocked down there by Norfoluma. Bateman cleans up. Well, that's a knockback. I don't know whether...
So it might have been forward out of the hands there from South Sydney. So Will be the Tigers who get possession here. And they'll have to work it away from their own 10.
They did well to hang on there, the Tigers. It could have been virtually the ball game before half time. 20-6. They needed to hang on there, the Tigers.
The game has ebbed away from them just before half time. They were level at 6 apiece after 10 minutes when Coruscant scored off the kick by Luke Brooks. But the Rabbitohs have scored 3 straight tries from that point. Now they give away a penalty.
There's your mark.
And Laurie underneath there earns his side chance to pick up some free metres off the boot of Luke Brooks in front of that packed hill. It's a great sight, isn't it? 11,000 fans. They really have responded here in the, I guess, the gateway to New England, this part of the world. It's Australia's country music capital.
And the great thing about it, they were in here a couple of hours before kickoff too, all getting their seats. It was a full house. The Tigers trying to strike back here before half time.
Brooks the ball back on the inside. Strong carry here by James, who runs a long way there. He's a big unit. Took some stopping. Coruscant showing it. Comes to Brooks. Out ball, Toa, and then Norfoluma does a full 360. Thought he was in the America's Cup for a moment there. And now the pass comes free. The Rabbitohs end up with it, and Tom Burgess says, I'll take it back towards the Tigers line.
Yeah, it was just Norfoluma just running around in circles there and then tried to get the ball away. It was knocked down. Back to the South Sydney side. When you're under the pump like they have been in the last 10 minutes, you've got to complete, get to your kick. Don't be trying to throw the miracle passes. That's been their problem in the first half.
Jai Arrow back on the bench, but he leads the VB hard-earned index. 32 points, one clear of Jacob Host. He deserves that break for the time being. Leads the VB hard-earned index. Staines watches that one go into touch. The Tigers once again will have possession from their own 10. Nice response tonight from this man, Lachlan Ilias, after all the talk last week. It's one of those things, the way the game panned out. Unusual. The halfback didn't take a kick in general play against the Broncos last week, but he's fired back tonight. Lovely kick for the Kalawalungi try, and then also taking them on and almost scoring his own try, denied by the efforts of Api Coruscant. Papali'i bring it back here. 15 short. The halfway line, Coruscant of Brooks. Graham coming out of the line. Bounced off Luke Brooks. He's had plenty of possessions. As Brooks on his return from the hamstring injury. Now a switch. Papali'i back on the inside for Jareem Buller. Plays it quickly, leaves Rabbitohs on the deck there, and then a pass on the volley. Charlie Staines put a boot on it. Mitchell takes it, gives it back to Cody Walker. The dynamic duo combining here, and Walker was just about away.
Yeah, I think they're the sort of side too, South Sydney. 50 seconds to go before half time. I think they'll stop playing here. They'll try and put some more points on the board.
Time for a couple of plays, if not maybe 3, as severely works it back towards the halfway line. Mitchell's down that short side. Cook comes back to the open though. Walker fires it beyond Lachlan Ilias. Ends up in the hands of Mawali, who did well not to knock it on. Here's Ilias again. Walker combining. Graham back on the inside. Bootlace tackle there, made by Akasi James. Mitchell, he fires a long ball across the face of everybody to give it to Tom Burgess. Needs to play it quickly, and he will do so. They'll get one more. Cook back to Mitchell. 35 metres for a field goal. It had the legs, but was away to the left-hand side.
Well, that's a kick for another day, isn't it, down the track, if they get in these sort of situations. Last play, Latrell had plenty of time to get himself set. He hit it nicely, just to the left of the upright.
Well, they might not have been firing on all cylinders, but at the break, the Rabbitohs doing it well enough in Tamworth against the Tigers. They lead 20 points to 6. Latrell Mitchell coming back tonight from his calf muscle injury. Kept him out for 2 months of action. He suffered it in Origin training for game 1 of that series back on May 28. It's a long time between drinks for the star Rabbitoh fullback, who's been fairly heavily involved as they lead the Tigers here 20 points to 6. We're back underway. Api Coruscant with the kickoff. go down to Lachlan Elias, who handed off to Tom Burgess. And the Rabbitohs were scoring points at will at times after we were locked up 6 apiece through the opening 10 minutes. He missed the first half. Alex Johnson, the great try scorer himself, scored a couple of tries to move up now to 183 tries in his fabulous career as cook from dummy half. Comes back to the middle where Jacob Host will work it forward. Rabbitohs in 9th position on the ladder. Tigers, of course, trying to work their way in the remaining games they have out of the cellar. Really playing it there. And it's Cody Walker puts it in the air. Some pressure on Jareen Buller. Makes the catch, going to a knee. He'll bring it back. And the Tigers with their first possession inside their own 20 in this second half.
Well, the first thing you've got to do, the Tigers really concentrate. 8 errors turning over the football in that first half. You can't afford to do it. You put pressure on your defence. When they got Latrell and Cody and those sort of guys, they will pile on the points. Fatigue might start to set in, but the Tigers got to get to their kicks. Can't turn that footy over.
Tigers work it forward here. Coruscant from dummy half. Comes back to the middle. Strong carry by Alex Twile. Brings it all the way back to the halfway line. They'll go to the left where Brooks, under pressure from Cook, gets the kick away. Mitchell standing underneath it, makes the catch. He's got support there with Johnston. Bypasses him, heads out to his left-hand side to put pressure on Stafford To'a and also David Norfoluma. Bateman comes across to help out. They may well have needed his help. Given Mitchell's strength, he's stripped pretty fit on his return. So him being worked on almost non-stop in the dressing room during half-time block, and they were into the calf muscle on both legs and also the hamstrings, making sure he's nice and warm for the second half. And the plan was that he would play all 80 minutes tonight on his return.
Well, I think he'd be keen to play the 80 minutes, considering that he hasn't played for 10 weeks or whatever it is. He needs to get out there and get some minutes and under the belt and into his legs.
In the back play, there's a problem with Cody Walker off the back of that previous carry. Got him clutching his left wrist and is now walking across the field. Is he going to the left edge defensively, or is he walking towards the Rabbitohs bench? For the moment, he'll stay on the field here because Buller threatened to make a bust from inside his own 20. Looks like Walker will stay on the paddock. Let's watch it again and to see what happens here as he goes to ground, and maybe just the way he put the arm down there to brace himself. He fell awkwardly on it under the pressure from Luke Brooks.
Yeah, that wrist is already heavily strapped. Might have been a little bit of a scare there. Cody Walker brushes away from the trainer and plays on.
Looks to be okay for the moment. As you can see, a lot of strapping around that left forearm and wrist. Twile again, just outside the Rabbitohs 40. Brooks down the short side, pops a ball in over the top. Good hands. Coruscant, Grubbers, Brooks and Papali'i. And it's Papali'i who wins the race. The Tigers come out firing bullets in the second half in Tamworth. And they've opened up their account for the second 40. There might be a problem, though, for Appy Coruscant.
Yeah, he's holding a wrist too, but he gets to his feet. That's a good play there from the Tigers. Playing a little bit of footy. Some good offloads in that little bit of set there. Coruscant just goes up the short side. Brooks involved. There's the pass back on the inside. Buller hanging around the markers. And here's the late hit here. Oh. Turns his back. Latrell Mitchell turns his back on the Coruscant. He gets that kick away. That's a great ball there from Brooks. They're just all lined up back on the inside. Good chase through from Papali'i. What a start from the Tigers. South Sydney haven't come out, but they're good at keeping the ball alive. That's a good strike from them to start the second half to score the first try.
Well, they had to be the first to score. That'll be a factor in this game in the second half, and they've done exactly that. 20 points to 10. Kick to come from out wide. And as we mentioned, the first time these two sides met, yes, it was the Rabbitohs who won 20 points to 0, but they had some issues putting away the Tigers in that game, and it took them till deep beyond the 70th minute, in fact, to really make sure they had that one and the 2 premiership points. But it's been lean pickings ever since for the Rabbitohs. They were in first after that win. Now they're in ninth. Brooks tries to bend it back. Good strike by the Tigers halfback. And they're back in this contest. It's 20 points to 12.
West Tigers coach Tim Sheens will be super happy with that response out of half-time. His key message was that they needed to respect the ball. Very simple. They just needed to try and complete some sets. They only had 37% of the ball in the opening half. For the Bunnies, Jason Demetrio had been super happy with their defensive intensity. Not so much to open the second half now. And the West Tigers, Sean Bloor, he actually had to go for a Category 2 HIA assessment at half-time. Fellas, he has passed that and he is back on the West Tigers bench.
Thank you, James Hooper. So the full complement still available here for both teams as Tigers under pressure again. Boy, they've had their issues off the kickoff blocker. He used to make 11 doing exactly that. What's going on with the Tigers carries on these restarts?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's been really enthusiastic from the chase from kickoffs from the South Sydney side. Really trying to put those big hits on early in the first couple of tackles. Been successful so far.
Corus now here off a good run by Bateman. 12 follows suit. He's been jet propelled coming off the bench with his carries, and now here are the Tigers taking metres out of this Rabbitohs defensive line, which has leaked a lot of points in the last 7 rounds in particular. They're averaging 29 points against them over the last couple of months of the competition. A kick here which has Mitchell under pressure. Norfoluma coming through, makes the tackle on him. Mitchell went sideways and played the ball fairly casually, and Walker was there eventually at dummy half as Rabbitohs on 2 plays come across here to Tane Milne to take it just beyond their own 10.
Well, that's a little bit better there from the Tigers. Obviously got a bit of a rev up at half-time. The speed of the line has come back. They're starting to put a bit of pressure on this South Sydney side coming off their own line. And you're right about 12. A little bit of footwork, speed through the middle of the ruck. He's made a difference since he's been on.
Here's the last. They're just outside their 20. Ilias it is. Get the kick away, and it was a deep one as well. That's a great boot. And when you see that, you wonder why he went the entire game last week against the Broncos, didn't kick the ball in general play. That was a huge kick from Lachlan Ilias.
You might find that Cody Walker's a real dominant player, so Ilias has got to call for that football as much as he can and kick downfield. That was a beauty. And he's got to get himself involved in the game. If he's not, Walker will just take over.
Dane Laurie there thought Isaiah Tass wasn't square at mark. There was a penalty coming his way. The referee disagreed. The Tigers here, good meters again from their own end of the field. Here's Brooks, flat pass, Papali'i trying to run over the top of Ilias. Good defence this time from the halfback. Brooks again, chipping over the top. Chase there for Tupou. Comes back in field eventually. It's South Sydney who have it through Campbell Graham.
Just having a look at them tighten up the defensive line. They've got a court in the corner here. The Tigers are bridging up in defence. They'll try and force an error.
Tigers up very quick here. Look at the Rabbitohs again. Wedged in this corner of the field. 3 tackles gone, 15 out from their own line. Play the ball from Milne they were hoping for. Burgess picked off after barely a couple of metres, and was happy Coruscant. How good is he? And he's hurt Tom Burgess here, such with the quality of his contact. Just snapped his legs out from underneath him. And I think Burgess has cannoned head first, or nose first, into the Scully Park turf.
He's got wonderful technique, hasn't he, Appy? You know, we've been wrapping him pretty much the whole game here, but defensively, because Thomas Burgess was causing some problems at the back end of that first half. And their defence has improved out of sight here. The Tigers, great start from them. Amazing what you can do when you get a try the first try of the second half.
It might have been the old forearm there of Alex Twal, in fact, across the hooter on Tom Burgess. And now there's going to be a penalty for a shoulder charge. Coming in, David Muwali here. You saw a regular carrier in Sean Bloor bring it forward and just turn the shoulder, and you can't do that. Not for a few seasons now. Both of them turn the shoulder. Happy Coruscant pointing out to the referee saying that's a shoulder charge, sir.
The Tigers score first in the second half, and the defence has been a lot better, but this gives them a piggyback upfield, the penalty. Thomas Burgess still isn't that good there. A little bit of claret coming out of the top lip and the nose. What a face planted after that grassing tackle there from Mappy.
So fresh back on the field, having passed that Category 2 assessment, the HIA, and a bit of talk here between the boys, Sean Blaw and Davey Moali. A bit of a nick on the right eyebrow there for Sean Blaw, who they're checking on straight away. So the second time in the game, they've been forced to see how he's travelling. He's been off the field once already. Watch it again. There they are. And one of the reasons the shoulder charge has been outlawed for some time is that exact situation there, the old head clash, which can cause as much damage quite obviously as shoulder on head contact.
Well, the boys are starting to spice up a little bit, which is good to see the reaction here from the Tigers. They needed to react after being behind 20-6. They're pretty physical to start the second half here.
So it's a penalty for the Tigers. Sean Blaw is going to come from the field for another HIA. He's second. Barely been back on the field for a heartbeat. He's off again now. And while he goes to be checked, Davey Moali stays on the field. No sin binning.
Yeah, I think he was put on report for that one, was he? The shoulder charge. Head clash, the Tigers get in an attacking position again. What about that for a kick?
Luke Brooks, he's kicked one backwards here. I swear that went a metre backwards from the boot of Luke Brooks. I know he's been out of action for some time, but he's hooked one for a negative loss.
It's the worst one of the season there from Brooks.
Here he is, back on the inside, Alex Twal. So going in the right direction. He's been tremendous. Off the bench for Tim Sheens here this evening. Brooks now, flat pass for Bateman. Tries to run over the top, and he did well. It was Cody Walker who was underneath and couldn't contain the Englishman, who's been left on the ground, clutching ahead. Attention in the ruck is the call from Ziggy Persha-Klasser-Adamski, and he says 6 more tackles for the Tigers.
Trying to milk the penalty there, Bateman. You got the 6 again anyway.
Here's a massive chance for West. They trail by 8, and Brooks, long ball there. He put them under pressure, and Junior Tupou has been strong on the wing, now playing in the centres. And Twal takes it hard to Cook. He goes straight past him as well. Still going, Alex Twal. They can't get him to ground, so the nose for the try line quite obviously. And now Brooks, grubbering. Dane Laurie is there. Winning the race was Mitchell. What an effort from the South Sydney superstar. He brings it back. Look at him go. Runs over the top of Brooks. Still standing there. He's a colossus.
Yeah, we know what a magnificent player he is, Latrell Mitchell. It's great to see him back, but the way he reads the game, he read that play so well. Got himself on his bike, collected that ball on the first bounce, and return the ball with interest.
Little smile on his face as well as he went past the outstretched arm there of John Bateman. Just does it so easily. It's incredible. Now Kalamatungi. One of the try scorers to this point for the Rabbitohs. Goes back to the halfway line, limps, and now slumps back to his haunches and clutches at the ankle. Having played it, he had issues, of course, in the build-up to the Origin series. He was unavailable for New South Wales. He wanted to be picked for game 1. The kick across the field, Norfoluma lets it bounce. It'll go into touch. And the Tigers here on the changeover will have it midfield just outside their own 20.
I think he did pretty well there, Norfoluma. Rather than coming away with the error there, allowed it to bounce.
Let's go down to James Hooper to bring us up to date on what's happening with Sean Blaw. Now an issue for Keon Kalamatungi as well, James.
Sean Blaw is out of the game, Warren. That was obviously his second head injury assessment, so he will not return. There was a bit of verbal and some niggle going on between Sean Blaw and Davey Moali. The West Tigers forward was not happy with that attempted shoulder charge. It obviously went on report, but because, crucially, Moali wasn't sin-binned as the Tigers lose control of the ball, or wasn't sent off, the Tigers have been unable to activate their 18th man, Warren.
Always a curious situation when the player has to leave the field as on the receiving end. The man who made the tackle, stays on the field. Here's a chance. Tupou's away down the left wing. They've got numbers here for the Tigers. He runs towards Mitchell, who saves a try. Or did he? Papali'i ends up with it. And the call, it looks a correct one, will be a knock-on against Junior Tupou.
Do you think they're going to score for their life there, the Tigers? You're going to see the numbers in support. Api Coruscant was the pass there, the cut-out pass. And here's the grassing tackle here from Latrell Mitchell. Trying to get the ball away late. That's gone back.
Tupou stays in the field of play and passes it back inside.
Coruscant is there reaching for the ball. Does he make contact?
The ball is then knocked on by Api Coruscant.
Just bounced away from him the last second.
We have a decision.
Boy, what a bomb try, though, by Junior Tupou. Had 3-on-1 there, only had to draw and pass. And Mitchell comes to him, and they score. Probably bring it around underneath the uprights as well to make it potentially a 2-point game instead. Stays at 20-12 in favour of the Rabbitohs.
Gee, should have passed back on the inside. As we mentioned, up the short side again, the Tigers have numbers back on the inside. Mitchell makes the cover tackle, but that should have been a try to the Tigers.
So a huge moment in the game for the West Tigers. A bomber try. Lead is 8, and Jai Arrow about to come back into action here for Jason Demetriou and the Rabbitohs. 26.5 minutes remaining in the second half as the Rabbitohs are in the midst of an ongoing road trip. I had them in the Sunshine Coast last week against the Brisbane Broncos. Here they are tonight in Tamworth. Next week they're in Perth against the Sharks. Then they go to Cairns for a home game. They take on the Dragons, and then in round 25, before they have the bye the following week, they play Newcastle in Newcastle.
Some sort of road trip, isn't it? We get any time to spend at home.
You need some frequent flyers. Make friends with the Rabbitoh. They'll have plenty of them. Kick from Walker. Goes down to Jareem Buller. A little juggle. Gas from the crowd on the hill in that north-eastern corner here at Scully Park in Tamworth. It's great to be back in this part of the world, and the Tigers again showing a liking for these spreads inside their own 20, and they're away. Here's To'a. Too much speed. Cook can't get to him. He puts a kick in midfield. Norfoluma is there, going back and cleaning up. What a play by Lachlan Ilias. He brings it back as well, loses it in the Coruscant tackle. It'll be a knock-on, but he saved his team a try.
Yeah, that was a great tackle there. Front on, Coruscant. Ilias with the kick back in field. Gee, it was good play there from the Tigers. A nice long-range break. You have a look at Latrell Mitchell coming across here to make the tackle. The kick back in field. Like I said, they've got numbers. What about that for a save? That's the play of the day so far. They're under the pump. And here's the tackle from Coruscant. Ilias loses the football. Gee, they've been a different team in the second half, the Tigers. Hardly had a touch so far, the South Sydney side, and they're under pressure.
We were talking about his contact before, a couple of times, in fact. Api Coruscant, what a tackle he made right there. You can't hit them any better than that. Here is Buller on the left-hand side. Staines comes back to the middle. Junior Tupou it is, who will play it just 15 metres out. See if the Tigers can hit back. Boy, they've had some chances in the second half already. They've grabbed one of them. They try to Papali'i. They're very much in this contest. Twal showing it, taking them on. Only about 5 metres out. So Coruscant comes to this right edge. A big chance here, diving in to score for Nuabole. The Tigers are in again. Here they come, giving the Rabbitohs a massive scare tonight. Bolle scores.
Well, that's a great try there from Bolle. They tried to make the hit on him there, put it down to Api Coruscant's defence when Ilias was trying to bring the ball back after the big save. The Tigers are just cutting him up at the moment. They haven't come out after half-time, the South Sydney side. 20-6, they might have thought it was all over. Look at this for a powerful run. Bolle bounces out of the tackle and just keeps going, keeps the legs moving. Cook can't come in over the top. And the Tigers, to start the second half, go back-to-back.
And you come back to the tackle made by Appy Coruscant on a charging Lachlan Ilias to force the mistake, to get the ball back. And here he is throwing the no-looker, which fooled Jacob Host certainly, because he thought the ball was going out the back on the right edge. Instead, Fanua Bolle, the lock forward, beats 3 if not 4 Rabbitohs defenders. And in a moment, this will be a 2-point game.
It's been unbelievable, hasn't it? They've come out with aggression with their defence. They've played very direct, the Tigers. Souths haven't been able to go with them so far in the second half. It's going to be hard for them to turn it around.
We've got a beauty here in Tamworth tonight. Bolle scores. The Tigers are back within 2. It's 20 points to 18. The Rabbitohs on top, and after full time, stay with us because we'll take you to Melbourne. It's the Storm versus the Eels. What a big game that is. And a great doubleheader tonight. What an effort there to beat Mitchell and Cook. Plunge for the line. He knew how big that was. And the Tigers are all over the Rabbitohs here by some stretch at the moment. And it was about this time last week where the Broncos really got on top of South Sydney. And we'll see what the response is from the Myrtle and the Cardinal tonight. But they need one here because the Tigers are coming to get them.
Well, they've cut out their errors in the second half so far. Been able to score a couple of tries. They're playing a little bit of footy too. What a great performance to start the second half here.
So they'll bring it back through the try scorer himself, just short of the 30. And it's 12 this time, handing it off. Comes back to Bolle once again. Stopped this time by Jai Arrow. And then Coruscant kicks from just outside the 40. He might have the angle on the kick. Mitchell coming across will clean it up.
He had his foot on the sideline, did he, Mitchell, there, when he scooped that footy up?
If he did, the ball is dead and it would be Rabbitohs' possession anyway. So he had the option there had he wanted to do exactly that, but he was just a couple of centimetres, I do believe, inside the touchline. Watch it again. If he puts his foot on the line there, the ball is out, as it turns out, off the boot of Coruscant, and that would have been Rabbitohs' possession. Here's Tane Milne. That's an offload away. Comes back to Cody Walker. He'll play it for Cook. Quick play the ball. That was what's hurting the Tigers in the first half, and the Rabbitohs racked up those 3 straight tries. Walker's kick from inside the 40 was a bit rushed in the end, and now Buller comes across to Charlie Staines, who brings it back just outside the 30.
Looks as though Stefano Utoikamano's night is over. Fellas, he has just come from the field. He went straight up the tunnel. It is a right knee issue. And David Clemmer is into the fray.
Problem for the man who made his origin debut for New South Wales in game 2 of the recent series. The game here for the Tigers with a knee. Problem looked to be in some discomfort as well. Back in the Tigers dressing room. So we have 20 minutes remaining. An hour gone here in Tamworth. It's Brooks on his left-hand side. Comes across to Junior Tupou. He's a big, strong athlete. Battle tonight between himself and Campbell Graham. Brooks with the kick, looking for hang time. Comes across the field. To'a is there, makes the catch, and then loses it under the attention of Cody Walker.
They've just got to concentrate on their line speed now, the Tigers. That was a poor end to that set. They've got to go for it here and try and upset, send the South Sydney side back. They're running one out now. They've had to make a lot of defence in the second half. They've got to somehow try and find some energy here.
And the possession has really swung back the way of the Tigers, who had only 37% of the ball. It's a meagre total in that first 40. Kalamatangi, out of nothing here, makes a break, runs towards Buller, who will wrap him up with the help of Bateman. And they're 25 out from the Tigers line. Can they hit back? Walker chipping in behind them. Johnston pushing through. Norfoluma wins the race. Coming at speed was Jed Cartwright. But Norfoluma toes it dead.
Gee, that was clever play there from Cody Walker. Buller had made the tackle and was caught at marker. Kolomatangi, another great break upfield. Where's the support? As I said, lacking a little bit of energy, the South Sydney side. There's Buller making the tackle. He's out of position. Norfoluma does well to turn around and chase, knock the ball dead in goal.
Coruscant will go short. And plenty of Tigers there to make a contest of this, although Campbell Graham is hard to beat. Tall right centre comes down with it. And the Rabbitohs on the attack immediately here. Ilias at first receiver. Hands it off for Giant Arrow. Things away from Coruscant, but not Alex Twal. And then Bolle makes sure he hits the deck. But he stemmed the flow. Good low carry there from Silva Havili. Wombat there. Now Ilias showing it on the outside, coming back on the inside. Will take it down within a metre or so of the Tigers line. They've used up 4 plays. Murray is out the back. They'll go to the short side instead. Little switch for Graham. Back against the grain. Good contact there from Buller and also Papali'i. This is the last for South. Goes through the hands to Walker now. Rubbers again. Norfoluma turned around once again. And there Johnston was sweating on grabbing a hat-trick.
Oh, he was flying, wasn't he? Johnston. Norfoluma again does well to kick that ball dead in goal. Another forced line dropout. It was a Kolomatangi break up that right-hand side a little bit earlier that's really put the Tigers under pressure. And they've withheld the pressure so far. Couple of repeat sets.
Let's see what Coruscant does this time around as he go towards Campbell Graham again. He's a right-footed kicker, so that's the side he's kicking to. This one, though, needs a bit of help. It will bounce and cross the touchline just short of the 10. It'll be a penalty directly in front for South Sydney.
Well, they've had a fair bit of possession the last 5 minutes here now, and they've got the Tigers under the pump. They want to open the second half with a try. I don't think they'll go for goal here. 2 points in it.
In the middle, black dot. When you're ready, you go.
And Cook wants to tap it. And they're 0 for 2 on the short dropouts. And Kolomatangi put them in this situation to begin with that long bust down the right-hand side. Arrow it is. Takes it towards the post. Cook looking for the options. They'll try and burrow their way in once again. Veely is there. Bateman's around the legs. He's gone close. And stopped by Twal in particular. 3 plays gone. Here is Walker for Mitchell. Gets inside Stafford. Still on his feet until he was taken to ground eventually. Brooks was there along with Norfoluma. Walker comes across to Giant Arrow. Stays alive, straightens, and he's gone close once again. They're hanging on the Tigers, but only just. Cook on the last play. Rubbers again. More pressure here on the Tigers. Papali'i taking no chances.
Yeah, well done. That was a perfectly weighted kick again from Cook out of dummy half. Chase was on. Gee, that was a good tackle on Latrell Mitchell from Brooks. Had to make it. And coming in to try and make that extra man there on the left-hand side for the South Sydney side. And Brooks comes up with a pearler.
Coruscant's going to persist. The same edge and the same tactic. See if the Tigers can get a challenger there. This time Graham goes up. Papali'i was there trying to get to the ball. He's come down with it once again. 2 spectacular grabs. Campbell Graham. Means the Rabbitohs are still here. Camped inside the Tigers 20. Murray comes to Walker. Tass Johnston. They got them. There's the hat trick. He's racking them up tonight. Make it 184 now for Alex Johnston.
Geez, underrated player, Tass. The catch and pass there was a beauty. Johnston scores. Once he got the football, they're silky to watch, aren't they? They just couldn't withheld them anymore. the Tigers. They force 3 line dropouts on them. They're too good. If you give them that much ball, look at that from Tass. Norfoluma comes in off his wing. He's got 15 metres to play in there. The centres go in, so he's got to go in too. And there's plenty of room there. And South finally hit back to score their first try of the second half.
4 straight sets inside the Tigers 20. 3 dropouts, and the pressure eventually had to tell. Johnston on the end of the chain drives across the line. His 3. Yes, Alex, you're on track. And well, Billy Johnston looking over his, Billy Slater looking over his shoulder now, watching on no doubt tonight. Perched there on 190 tries in his career, and this fella coming to get him hand over fist.
And still plenty of football left too. Unbelievable. What a finisher he is. Once he gets the football with that sort of space to have a look at, and he's away and scores. Hat-trick tonight. And what a player he is.
18 tries now for the season here in just game number 19 for Alex Johnston. It is incredible. Take it out to an 8-point lead. Mitchell, the kick, fades back at the death. 26 plays, 18 here in Tamworth.
An update on the West Tigers front rower, Stefano Utoi Kamano. He was straight up the tunnel into the dressing rooms, but he has been assessed by the West Tigers doctor, and he is available to return to this match, which is good news for the West Tigers. They're now chasing points. Sean Bloor already ruled out of the game because of an HIA issue. So the Tigers, they do have 3 players on the bench at the moment, Warren.
Quite the return from Ukamanu, who looked to be in all sorts of trouble back in the Tigers dressing room. Here he is, available if needed for Tim Sheens. 13 remaining. No time to go in this one, given what we've seen in recent times. That Sharks comeback last week against the Seagulls. They scored 3 tries in 4 minutes. The Tigers still are close enough if they're good enough.
Yeah, the Tigers have got to find a way. It's been a great effort for them in the second half. It'll mean nothing if they can't finish off.
Well, they were in charge as far as the momentum was concerned. 2 straight tries until Kalama Matangi made that long break from inside his own half, and that really turned things around for South Sydney. They camped themselves with those grubber kicks, forcing goal line dropouts, and Johnston eventually making the Tigers pay. Down the short side here. Work it back beyond the 40-metre line where Ilias takes them on, but he's wrapped up by Twal. Last play here for South. And from outside the 40, it's Walker. Tumbling kick. Oh, taken there in the lap eventually by Buller. Comes across to Norfoluma. Goes back to Jareem Buller. He'll lope his way into space when he gets the chance. Has been quite the story in 2023 for the Tigers. Norfoluma brings it back here. Carry to almost the 40-metre line. As Buller waits at dummy half, Bateman is there. Arrow was up quickly, and so was Cam Murray. Takes him to ground going backwards. Now Brooks. Play it just over the halfway line here. Bolle was there. Now Brooks again comes back on that left-hand side where they'll play it. In fact, through Bolle, and it's Brooks who puts it high in the air. Pressure here on Tane Milne. Kapali'i was there, but Milne had eyes only on the ball. And he makes the catch as they work it away from inside their 20. Mitchell comes back to Johnston, who takes a carry.
He loves getting in field, doesn't he? Johnston does all the hard work too. We know he scored a hat-trick so far, but does a lot of work at the back end of the field for South Sydney. The modern-day winger has got to get stuck in, down in his own half.
For almost 130 metres tonight as Alex Johnston. Here's Arrow. Good carry there. Running towards David Clemmer. He want to set the tone for the night with his initial carry. Clemmer, as the Rabbitohs belted him off the kickoff. Really got them into the game, and they scored just as quickly through Johnston on the intercept. As Ilias puts a kick in. Buller backpedaling almost to his own goal line. He'll bring it forward. And the Tigers begin here at their own 20. Told you about the Rabbitohs and how they're in the middle of this long run around, literally around the extremities of the country. They go to Perth, go to Cairns, they've been to the Sunshine Coast as well. The Tigers, next week they've got the Raiders on the road, then the Warriors in Waikato, so they'll rack up some frequent flyer miles as well. Strong tackle here by Isaiah Tass on Dane Laurie, who is in all sorts of trouble as he slumps to the ground in the fetal position just about.
There's a good shot there by Tass. Made the decision to come in and cut the play off there for the Tigers. Brooks kicks early in the tackle count.
Mitchell happy to let that one bounce. Didn't want to take a chance deep in the game here. There's the replay of the tackle. Tass on Dane Laurie. And the Tigers at the moment only with 12 men available. Laurie in the backfield, some 15 metres behind Jareem Buller, the fullback. And it might be night over for Dane Laurie. Stefano Ikamanu, who made himself available after the knee assessment. They gave him the green light. He's back out there. There he is, helping David Clemmer here make the tackle. Laurie's back in the line for the moment, but he's on one leg. Seeing if the Rabbitohs come left to try and expose him. Ilias here again. Takes another carry. Cook. Through Avili. In the middle of the field for the moment. We've got one more play here. Walker's at first receiver on this left-hand side. He'll put the kick in. They'll put pressure on Buller coming through. Jed Cartwright was there. There might have been an escort by Dane Laurie who took Jed Cartwright away from the contest. The referee didn't see it or says it was all okay. Either way, the Tigers have it.
Yeah, just got to get upfield now, the Tigers, and try and get some field position. See how Sydney, well, led by Jai Arrow. Gee, he's played well since he's come on both sides of the ball. Playing in the front row this evening.
Brooks for Staines. Great to see him back after that long-term injury. The perforated bow suffered in the game against the Seagulls all the way back in round 8. Brooks here trying to play on, called to play it there. A kick top of the 40-metre line. Legs at Johnston. They cleared it up, and Muta Ikamanu is there to stop him. Well inside the 10, and eventually Dane Laurie succumbs to that leg injury after that strong tackle by Isaiah Tass. Here's Mitchell. They'll play it here just outside the 30. Rabbitohs by 8, not home just yet. And blocker, as they say in these parts, until the country music star sings, the game isn't over.
Well, it's been a great second half so far, especially from the Tigers. Crawled their way back in now, the South Sydney side. They got the only try of the second half for themselves and forced some line dropouts.
Murray for Mitchell here. Mitchell grubbers. Cartwright on the chase, putting pressure on them. Getting across, the Tigers have saved the day through Buller, but a good kick by Mitchell. It was perfect.
Yeah, the chase was just as good from Cartwright too. Never gave up on the play. Latrell Mitchell beautifully weighted off the left foot. Look how hard Cartwright's chasing here. That's a big play. Buller there on the spot, forces him back in the in-goal area. That's the fourth one of the second half, the forced line dropout.
So looks as though Latrell in this comeback game from the calf muscle issue, a long-term one as it was, will play out the 80, and that's what they were saying during the week. Here's a chance for Cook. Was it tapped backwards by the Tigers? Play on for the moment. Coruscant stopped in the in-goal area, and Ziggy wants to check it.
Got no try here.
It'll be interesting to see. Gee, the ball travelled pretty quickly, whether it was a knock-on from the South Sydney side, whether there was a hand on it. Get back and clean up again. Here's the short line dropout.
Well, it's been Graham versus Papali'i, and it was Papali'i.
Yeah,
in fact,
The ball has
who
been
knocks
cleared
it
as travelling
backwards.
10. The ball is knocked backwards by Isaiah Papali'i, playing on at this stage.
And Cook realised that. The contest there with Luke Brooks.
Just looking to see if there's any interference on Damien Cook.
Two men going for the ball there, and the Brooks grabbed him or dragged him out of the play. It might have just been almost shoulder to shoulder there.
Yeah, I think they're shoulder to shoulder there. I think he just holding back just a tad.
Yeah, that right hand.
Luke Brooks has his hand on Damien Cook, but there's no disadvantage to Damien Cook in the play. We're playing on.
Damien may well disagree with that point.
Yeah.
Coruscant forcing the ball. Damien Cook says,
And the Tigers
"Sir,
are tackled in goal. We have a
surely
decision.
I was taken out of the play by Luke Brooks."
Next
As we
best
heard the
thing.
bunker, they disagreed. And they will get the ball back here with another goal line dropout. Boy, they're racking them up here in this second half.
Yeah, so important now for the Tigers to hang on. They've done so well. Only the one try from the South Sydney side in the second half.
And tonight was the 5th time we've come here to Scully Park in Tamworth. The Tigers' 4th visit, and it's a ground record as well. The best part of 11,000 fans here. Sold out all the way back on Tuesday. And they've seen a good game. Despite these two teams, one battling for a place in the top 8, the other battling at the bottom of the table. It's just 8 points the difference with 5 remaining as Burgess plays at Cook. Finds Arrow. Rabbitohs trying to put the Tigers away right here in this set. Cook was pointing, didn't realise the ball had been played, and the referee says it was knocked on anyway by Jai Arrow.
I reckon they might have a challenge at this one.
Matty Noyne.
Not long left on the
On-field
clock.
ruling is tackle 3. Incorrect play the ball from Jai Arrow.
He stays on his feet here.
Jai Arrow tries to play the ball without balance and control. He's not facing goal. We have a decision.
His balance was okay. It was the fact that he wasn't facing squarely, and that's why it was called against the Rabbitohs. So they lose their challenge. May not hurt them here with an 8-point lead. 5.5 to go, and Jai Arrow, who led in the first half on the VB hard-earned index, he leads here still once again at the back end of the game. Busy night. The front rower for the Rabbitohs.
We thought he was South's best player last week against the beaten side, against the Broncos. Gee, straightened them up well, took it personally. He's backed it up again.
Just extended his time as well, Blocky, to stay with the Rabbitohs until the end of 2027. There's a fillip for both Arrow and the Rabbitohs to have that deal done. 4 more seasons in Redfern for Jai Arrow as the Tigers play it through Uta Ikamanu. Here's Clemmer. Boy, they've been up in his face all night. He'll be happy to jump on the team bus and get out of Dodge, I'd reckon, by the time they hit the highway. Here's a chance. To'a, quick hands. Staines, who is lightning. The old Forbes Ferrari puts in a kick here. Mitchell, though, wants to return it with interest. Picked it up on the gallop, and he was at full revs as well.
Yeah, have a look how strong he is, able to stand in the tackle. Papali'i was trying to force him into touch there. Latrell Mitchell tacks the football.
A long time since the Tigers had all that possession. This southern end of Scully Park dominated the first 20 minutes of this second half. Here's Murray, straight through them. Walker backing up. Murray sells the dummy, and he scores underneath the uprights to get the Rabbitohs home in Tamworth.
He's a great athlete, isn't he? He's been at it all day, all season, Murray. Takes it right down to the end, 4 minutes to go. Throws the dummy. He had Tass back on the inside there, didn't need him. He just summed up. I think that you'll find that Buller might have just turned out on him a little bit to go for the man back on the inside. It's a perfect pass there. Bateman can't make the tackle. Twal, he goes straight through him. Throws the dummy. You'll find Buller might have been going for the intercept there or knock the ball down.
Yeah, Will Smith fresh on the field here on the outside of Bateman, extends that left arm, and he was left in the wake and takes down Bateman as well. And then Walker was there if Murray needed him. He didn't. And they're home now for their 11th win of the season. They've got you'd imagine, win potentially 4 of their last 5 games to secure a berth, given their position just outside the top 8 coming into round 22. They'll win here tonight to make their record 11 wins and 9 losses, and they may need as many as 14 wins. It could well even then still come down to for and against to decide who gets those places inside the top 8. Mitchell from right in front. He wants the crowd into it. He's enjoyed his return tonight. He's been entertaining to watch. Heavily involved, especially in the first half. And boy, he's got some fans here in Tamworth as well. That's tremendous to see. Don't forget, beyond full time, we're taking you down south to Melbourne. It'll be the Storm against the Eels. Clint Gutherson and the Para boys. Speaking of that battle, they're in the midst of it with the Rabbitohs, with those places at the bottom of the top 8. The Eels in 8th position as we speak. Coming into this game, at least, the Rabbitohs will leapfrog them for the moment. Parramatta will have to win against Melbourne to reclaim that spot back inside the top 8 here in round 22. The Tigers go short, and taken in mid-air was Cody Walker by John Bateman.
Penalty, fellas. No more.
Gee, they've been at it, haven't they? Bateman and Murray all game, and plenty of sledging going on. A little bit of scare for the South Sydney side early in the second half, and the Tigers went back-to-back tries, but have ground their way out of it. There's the tackle mid-air.
Well, let's see if they've got one more. The Rabbitohs fans, and boy, it's a Tigers home game, but I think it's probably a 50-50 split here between the two supporter bases. Plenty of Rabbitohs fans in attendance tonight. Burgess just outside the 40. Ilias comes across through the hands there of Walker. Now Graham, met by Brooks, and also Papali'i. 78 minutes gone. And the Rabbitohs with the final say. 14-point lead. Murray goes to Walker. Numbers on this left-hand side. Mitchell kicks again. Johnston looking for 4. The kick this time just a little bit too deep. Not enough angle on it for Alex Johnston. And the Tigers should be able to work it away here without further incident. Potentially. They drive back towards the end goal. They've got themselves a goal line dropout. What defence from the Rabbitohs.
And all the classy players make it look so easy. Go back and watch that grubber kick in and behind there by Latrell Mitchell off the left boot. What a play. And here's some rugged defence here. They hold him up. Tara it is that gets forced back in the in-goal area. The troops come, they arrived.
Well, it is women in league round, of course. There's now almost 40,000 women who are registered as players nationally. At the elite level, of course, the NRLW is back in 2023, bigger than ever as well. And you'll see it all live, of course, throughout the season right here on Fox League. So the Rabbitohs, as Coruscant surprises them, goes deep. And from 40 metres out, it's Burgess. There's around about 50 seconds remaining in the game. Time for one last trick shot. What has Cody and Latrell got here? It's early ball. They were looking for Isaiah Tass coming up quickly. Tyler was there looking for an intercept, knocks it down. And that might just about do us tonight. I can't imagine the Rabbitohs are in any hurry here to form the scrum. Latrell, a successful comeback. It's enough from him tonight, and they were true to their word, the Rabbitohs camp, in saying that he would play the full 80, and that's exactly what he's done. There they are on the live ladder, now moving into 7th position. They go ahead of the Cowboys, level on points, of course, with different as far as games being played. And the Rabbitohs, as we said, still with their 3rd and final bye to come in round 26. And they'll freshen up for a week, take on the Roosters in the final game of the minor premiership. Walker on the outside, Milne down the sideline, trying to get to the in-goal area. He'll go close, but the Tigers will stop him, and that'll do us tonight in Tamworth. They were given an almighty scare midway through the second half, the Rabbitohs, but they hit back just when they had to. And at full time at Scully Park, it's the Rabbitohs with Latrell playing the full 80. They've beaten the Tigers 32-18.